Come. Oh, come on.
Riveting television.
Come.
For the
Stage right now. Come.
pod listeners at home, Inga's trying to encourage her baby puppy to come for treats.
She's a prodigy. Second attempt. Who's that? Who's that on the screen? Who's that? You say hello? Who's that?
It's Uncle Jason, isn't it?
It's
I'm
Uncle
going to be
Jason.
the naughty
Just say her name.
puppy
Say
uncle.
her name.
Latte. Hello, Latte. Look here.
She's actually looking at the right spot. The speaker
Oh,
is
okay.
over there. That's
Hello,
correct.
Latte. Hello.
Even if the actual... She's correct.
Okay, all right, cool.
I won't
This
hear
is good.
you say my dog is not correct.
No. I trust that the dog is correct.
Right. Where am I putting her?
Go to sleep now, dog.
Have a look.
This is funny.
Her favourite human is actually Brendan, who's home at the moment. So
Not
she
surprised
can
he's the.
get out of my office and go and see him.
I'm not surprised he's a dog whisperer.
He really is. He taught her drop today.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's not bad. After what?
Hang on a sec. Hang on. Got my audio working. Hello.
Hello,
All right. I'm just...
you're good.
Let me turn things up. Yeah. Shall we just do a bit of a... Oh, we're live now. It's too late now.
You press the record button. This is all on you.
I feel like we should stop and check, but at the same time, all the levels look good. So that sounded very professional of me. I've got my dog treats.
Yep, good, excellent.
Okay.
What are we doing brand endorsements? Have you got a particular favourite dog treat brand or something?
Well, see, I don't
Is that
think
what
it's
we're doing?
me who has the favourite, Jason. It's a certain young lady has a favourite. And freeze-dried chicken or bust, though she doesn't mind a bit of cheese.
Okay.
Let me find the show notes. Where are we? Who's driving the bus? Me.
You are.
Okay.
Maybe what we should do is we should reach out to the fine folk at Dog Treats Inc. and get some sort of sponsorship deal going.
I like this idea because I already get discounts. She's gone to sleep.
Oh, look at that. That's well trained.
I know, right? I'm going to have to include that bit now because I don't want to pick her up while she's asleep. I want to encourage, this is her primary job in life,
Right.
is to lie under my desk while I do things on the computer.
Yeah.
And she seems to be taking to it.
She's going like, this is great. I've lucked out here.
She really has lucked out, I tell you what. She's a very
I
bougie
know, right?
dog.
She
Very bougie.
could have been born in a different place at a different time and had far much more work to do.
I know she did something good in the previous life, Jason, is all I'm saying. All she does is lie around, get fed freeze-dried chicken. It's all good.
Didn't you say that was their job previously? Like, that's their purpose? They were bred for this kind of work?
Yeah, absolutely. I will explain her whole heritage. There's a whole story behind our young friend. I feel like I should stop and really check the levels again, you know? Like,
Okay.
'cause we've had so many goes at this, so I'm just going to stop it. And then I'll
You
string
can,
them together.
you can edit. What happened to the sleepy dog? Oh,
Then, yeah, don't touch the sleeping dogs. We let sleeping dogs lie.
yes.
We let them lie. Let's just call it. I'm calling it.
All right.
I'm also driving the bus.
Correct.
Welcome to On the Reg. We're so out of practice. I'm Professor Inga Vuurburn from the Australian National University, but I'm better known as Thesis Whisperer on the internet. We're going now, Jason. The train has left the station. I'm here with my good friend, Dr. Jason Downs from On the Reg team for another episode of On the Reg. That's a lot of On the Regs, where we talk about work. We talk about work, but, not in a boring way. Practical, implementable productivity hacks to help you live a more balanced life. Jason, how you been?
All right. As a matter of fact, this feels like it's been for bloody ever since we've recorded a podcast.
Yeah.
And listeners may not be aware, but we've actually recorded three.
Yeah, one, we
others.
recorded like a 6-hour epic or 4-hour epic, and then we recorded another 40-minute, and then the battery ran out, and we're just, I don't know. I'm the weak link in this situation, though. It's every time I get those. Yeah. Anyway, you explain what's been happening, Jason.
Look, we're back. The last one that people would have seen or listened to would have been the one where you said there's a lot going on. You had the T-shirt at the time.
There's still been a lot.
Still a lot going on. But so here's a kind of a loose promise to all of our listeners that the epic 4-hour long one that we did in the Tesla on the way back from the QPR conference,
which we did yes.
Inga may, if she can get the audio things to do its thing, chop that into 2 episodes and upload it. But if it happens, it'll be bonus content.
Yeah.
Rather than we'll deliberately schedule it into the series. So this kind of represents a bit of a return to form for us, where after a bit of a period where a lot has been going on, I think we're back. Are we back?
No, we are back, and I'm Good. Me de facto in charge of the production schedule as I have been for the last 7 years, 8 years.
Yes, not de facto in charge, actually in charge. Like I handed that off to you a long time ago, going, that looks hard.
Yeah. Actually, I think it really happened at the beginning of your last work troubles, which is years ago now, because you don't have any now because you work for On the Reg team. You work for us, but
great place to work.
And I've been the weak link in just so many ways, Jason, at work. And yes, I mean, I know we're meant to be talking about you, but we are in the apology side of the pod. Yes. Shall we just change? We'll change them around. I'm just making a production decision because it seems like this follows on more naturally rather than return to it, is to say there was a lot going on, family health crisis, deep, prolonged health crisis involving more than one person. And sadly, during that health crisis, though not at the end of the crisis, my dad died. Poor old fella, Roger. He died in May. And so the health crisis started in December. His health crisis was ongoing. So it started before that. And then we had another one. There were overlapping health crises. I took 3 months off work. And then Dad died, and that was sad. He was 86, and he was sick for the last year. So he had a pretty good trot. He wasn't sick for very long, actually, in the whole scheme of things, in a life. But yeah, it was a slow burn, Jason, because kind of knocked me about a bit. And given the other health crisis, of which I won't go into, but that one was far more dramatic, I realised that I had something, I think, akin to work burnout. I was saying this to you the other day, that I feel like it had the features of the burnout because the emotional intensity of it and the prolongedness of it and the stress of it is similar to the kind of work burnout you get, but it's different. It's just different. It's not, it's different. But cognitively, I think it does something similar to you, where you're just very hard to get back to your normal daily activities, very hard to sort of retain information and do anything with it. And you just kind of get into this reactive space where you do what you have to do, but forward planning seems really hard. Remembering things is really hard, and it just takes a while. And every week I say, I feel like I'm back to normal. And then the next week I'm like, now I'm really back to normal. And then the next week I'm like, wow, I wasn't back to normal at all those previous 2 weeks, but now I'm back to normal. And I feel like that every week. So I've just been burning down my long service leave, working part-time. And if I keep that front piece in, which I will cut it in, we've got a delightful new family member who arrived, who's deeply asleep underneath my desk. She'll wake up soon and start biting my feet. Latte, our Coton de Tulier pup, which everyone who's listened has known I've had on my list for 2 years, and was put off. It was meant to come last November, but I'm glad we waited because Latte is an interesting character.
What's Latte's long name?
Latte Sipping Socialist is her show name, Jason. Yes. She's a brown and white girl. She's very curious and lively, and she poos everywhere and wees everywhere. My house smells like poo and wee. She's chewed up all my socks. Yeah, what can I say? She's a puppy. She's cute. She's adorable.
Listeners, before we got online for the podcast, Inga had the Riverside open and playing in the background. And I could hear a conversation that was going on in another part of the house where Inga and Brendan were very excited about the fact that Latte had taken herself out for a poo and had pooed in exactly the right spot. It was just short of cheers, like in the background. It was
not only that, she'd been locked in my office, like wandering around in preparation for the pod, and she barked at me once, like, I want to go to, and I'm beginning to understand her barks. I'm like, that sounds like a toilet bark. And so, so there was a whole communication chain. I'm just saying, like, look, house training's a process, Jason. And Brendan, my son Brendan, who long-time listeners will know has been training puppies for several years now, works at Petstock in Gungahlin. If you're in Canberra, drop by, say hi to Brendan. So he, yes, he told me the other day that I had unhelpful toilet training energy, Jason. Apparently, I hang around the potty place a little bit too expectantly, and I suspect I did the same thing with him back in the day. And he's kind of like, just back off, I'll show you how this is done. And so he's just been training me, basically. He's been training me to train her. But she can do sit and drop, and come. So, she's a prodigy. She's so cute. People look at her and they go, that dog looks like AI. So she's got her many nicknames around the house. One of her nicknames is now Fluffy G, which is like Chatty G, but Fluffy G, because too cute to be real. But also sleeping, so she can carry on. How about you? I've done my apologies to her now. What's been happening in your side of the fence?
Just a ton of work, which has been like great. You know, when people say I've got a ton of work on, and they usually mean it in the like, oh my God, I'm exhausted kind of way. Like I continue to be excited by the work that we do. A huge proportion of the amount of work that we've been doing more recently has been around harnessing AI, and kind of watching that whole debate turn up. And like it's really starting to gather speed now in the spaces that we operate in.
Yes, it is.
Kind of having to, that pin myself down on what my position actually is around some of that stuff has been really interesting.
We need to talk about that later, because I really think, that's been interesting. Me being inside the tent, so working still at ANU, and you being kind of semi inside the tent or visiting the tent. It's very different vibes, and we've got different views on this now, where over the last couple of years our views have been pretty much lined up. So that's kind of really interesting as well, right? Like I'm enjoying that conversation as we go on. I'm excited to kind of pre-announce. I don't know if you can do this, but Inga, we've got a new product called Harnessing AI for Law Academics. Really? Do we? This is news to me.
It is news.
There was a text message that was like, "Do you reckon?" I'm like, "Sure." And then this is the whole thing we're doing now. Yeah.
Like you and I have built a Harnessing AI for Law Academics workshop that is on point. It's really good. Of all of them, it's probably the most exciting version of our Harnessing AI that I've got. Man, do we go deep?
And I think we need to thank some people, because with the help of Mel Caston, big shout out.
Mel Caston, we've done a lot of work with Monash Law faculty over the last 12 months or so. I think 6 engagements, maybe more, maybe 8 engagements with the law faculty there. There's a lot of work that, as we built stuff to work with them, a lot of what we built there kind of, and we didn't test it with them. Like, we knew it worked, but every time we ran a different version of that, we upgraded our examples, the models got more powerful as well at the same time.
Yeah.
And so the last one that I did with them, when I rebuilt the workshop, things had changed, and I was using Fable to really build some of the content and some of the activities.
Anthropics, Claude's Fable, for those people who've been living under a rock and haven't heard about Fable.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've had an experience where I kind of push back from the desk and go, whoa, right?
Yeah.
But just using Fable to build that stuff was next level for me. And I'm not even doing anything fancy like the coding people must. I don't even understand that side of it, right?
Yeah.
How people code, vibe code, blah blah blah, whatever. But that must be just extraordinary working with it in that capacity for what it should be able to do. I was reading today in one of the papers, can't remember which one. OpenAI said that a model or a few models of a model or a few models escaped their security sandboxing and went and hacked into Hugging Face. So they were testing their upcoming new, even more capable model inside the security space, and it escaped, and it found its way to Hugging Face, and attacked Hugging Face. And Hugging Face have come out and said, yes, this is true, this is what happened, and they've explained what happened from their end. And one of the things that they said in the article that I was reading was the problem is that the new models have context, but the defenses, in terms of an attack, they've got context that they can work with, and they can autonomously make decisions about how they're going to attack a particular system. But in the defense side of it, they can't, they've got boundaries and that sort of stuff with their AIs internally to stop that on the way back. So,
every day I feel like we're a step closer to living in not the best William Gibson novel.
Right.
They're all a bit dystopian, really, aren't they?
The CEO
doesn't sound like a good idea. I mean,
no.
as a newly minted dog owner, can I just say, sounds like some puppy proofing needs to happen.
Yeah.
And puppy proofing takes work. Do the work, OpenAI. Don't fuck around.
Well,
I don't like it.
The interesting thing was that the CEO of Hugging Face came out and said, because of the way in which the AIs have boundaries set around them, they had to disable whichever model AI they were using and install a Chinese open weight large language model that didn't have all of those boundaries baked in, so that they could effectively defend against this attack. Yeah, right. So what you've got autonomously, you've got one set of models attacking a thing. The thing can't respond because it lacks context. So what they do is they download another thing. The defenders download another thing that doesn't have any boundaries to fight back. Right. That's. I've seen the opening scenes of
YouTube watchers
Terminator
will see my
movies.
face. Yeah, I mean, we've seen the Terminator.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Again, I don't like it. I'm not comfortable.
And the thing that got me was being reported to the public in the newspapers. So you can just imagine, right, how bad it actually is. Because you wouldn't just tell the public.
I also think some of this stuff is good PR, right? How scary are our models. Look how scary they are. Yeah, it's
and our next model is even more powerful than the last
scarier.
model.
So please keep giving us money at a biblical rate so that we can keep burning it, throwing it in the big money furnace. I don't know. Yeah. So this harnessing AI for law academic, is this going to be an online course, Jason?
No. I'm happy to fly to law faculties.
Fly to wherever. Okay.
And all around the world to deliver this one. It's a full day workshop. Yeah. Hands-on, doing stuff. It's tuned for Australian market at the moment, but there's no reason why we couldn't retune it for other markets if there's interest. Yeah. I'm happy to happy to fly to New Zealand or anywhere really.
Have we even caught people up? I can't remember where we're at in our podding cycle, but we did catch people up with you being in the UK. We did do that. That was the last pod, right? So
yeah, but
you flying around the world.
No, that was the one that we abandoned because we had battery issues.
Anyway, you went to the UK. You had a great time.
I went to the UK. Had a great time. Met a whole bunch of people while I was over there. I rather than read off the names, I will forget someone, I'm sure, while I was there. But visited towns like York, Cambridge, Oxford, Bristol, Brighton, various universities across those. You know, University of Cambridge, University of Sussex, like York. It was wonderful to go and spend that time. Met up with a whole bunch of people, some pod listeners. The stories were quite funny because they would say, "Oh, I can't come into work today this morning because I'm meeting this guy from Australia who I only know via a podcast." And then various versions of that were, one was, be careful that he's not an axe-wielding murderer. Another one was, this is how human trafficking occurs. You know, like I was like, it's fine, everybody. I didn't kill anyone or human traffic anyone.
And you exited via Paris and had yourself across.
Came out via.
Went to the Eiffel Tower.
Amazing.
You had a great time.
Paris was. I really enjoyed Paris. I was only there for not very long. Like 72 hours.
24 hours, yeah.
Something like that. Like it was really, really short. I got in late in the evening, had 2 days, and then was out in the evening on the way home. But got to walk around all around Paris, got to see some... And I walked everywhere. It was amazing. Climbed the Eiffel Tower, did all that sort of stuff, which is...
Did you actually climb it or did you take the lift? Did you use the stairs?
Took the lift. Oh, my God.
I was going to say climb. It's like it's pretty high. I got to the first. I got to the first, flat bit, and I actually had a bit of a flip out and went, I don't want to go any higher than that. Thank you. I'm happy enough to go my whole life without going to the top of the Eiffel Tower. So Luke and Brendan went all the way to the top. They said it was great. I was like, good for you. Yeah, that's too high for me. I'm scared of heights. And it was. Yeah, it was a long way up. So did you go to the top? You did it.
I did.
Feel the fear and do it anyway. I'm going to, in the interest of letting sleeping dogs lie and knowing that we're always on the clock, I'm going to move us on. But we've both been good. We're back. We're going to have back to our monthly schedule-ish, because we're always monthly-ish. Yeah?
Yeah. That's because we're on the regular, right? Yeah.
Because that's right. It's a joke. Okay.
Good news. Hopefully next time we record, I'll have fibre to the premises.
That would be really nice.
Right. We won't have laggy. Anyway.
Yeah, that would be very nice. This is the mailbag. And the mailbag, basically the mailbag is so bulging that my suggestion to you, Jason, was to take some portions of it and make it the main segment. Are we doing that? Is that what's happening in this?
No, we're gonna burn through them all. Because at that point we're up to date.
Yes.
And we need more. There's a lot in here.
Yes.
But I think if we leave it any longer, things are going to drop off. The context window will collapse, Inga. And
context will collapse.
We'll lose a few.
Let's go for it. All right, let's go for it. So we love hearing from you all. Please, after this episode, continue sending us because we've got a bulging mailbag, but it will be empty. It's our chances for you to share the interesting things with us. You can write to us at pod@ontheregteam, all one word.com. We'll make sure your email makes it to the next episode, even if that episode is 3 months delayed. We've been 3 months off the air, which is pretty bad, actually. But there you go. Really? Oof. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we're back. The first one comes from Kathleen, and it's in black, so it's my read. Thanks, Kathleen, for writing to us. Hi, my name is Kathleen. I'm a new PhD candidate. Welcome, Kathleen, to the world of PhD candidature. Catherine continues. I'm in my mid-50s, autistic and ADHD, and making the leap from corporate life to teaching and then into academia. sounds like my trajectory. Full disclosure, says Kathleen, I'm a PC user. It's all right. We don't judge. We accept all types. Yeah. You do a little bit. I don't. I live with 2 PC users, so I don't. Kathleen goes on, I'm also a printer of journals, notes in the margins, highlighted text with asterisks everywhere, post-it notes, journals clipped together with bulldog clips based on connected ideas. I was listening to the podcast about Jason burning his master's thesis. Yeah, that's the thing he did, which led to printing journals. And I would love to hear your thoughts on how to capture those margin notes and connections between papers digitally if I stop printing. I use Zotero, but I struggle with object permanence thanks to ADHD. I generally worry all my ideas will just vanish into the ether. If I'm truly going paperless, I want to do it before I go in too deep. Thanks for your help. Bye. Wow. Okay. Good call. Like paper or paperless, good call. Object permanence, do you know about that, Jason? Do I need to do
You need to help me. You do. You need to teach me.
Right. So you might remember you've raised a child who's now very tall. And there comes a time before 6 months when something's out of sight, it doesn't exist. And then when it comes back into sight, it exists all of a sudden and you can play peekaboo. And they get really excited because it's interesting to them, because for all they know, the thing that they can't see is gone from the world completely. Right? That's called, at about 6 months, I believe, don't quote me on this, they develop what's called object permanence. That means you can remember things that aren't physically located with you, right? So because of the way that ADHD works in the brain, dopamine, yada, 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 sometimes memory, like it's like your brain has got gears that kind of slip. And so what we do when we're using object permanence is we're using memory parts of the brain as part of our executive function. And something in ADHD makes that a little glitchy, right? So that means that it's very, very easy for people with ADHD to forget things, which is why the bullet journal is genius, because it was designed by an ADHD person. And the bullet journal migration is designed to be a way to preserve object permanence. Right, so either things are crossed off or they're not crossed off. If they're not crossed off, they need to be moved and written again, right? So that's why BuJo is really good for people with ADHD. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go and find a bullet journal. Just type bullet journal into Google. You'll learn so many things. So I think the bullet journal is your friend. I would not let go of a paper system with ADHD, quite honestly. I really wouldn't. If it's that bad that you already sort of feel like you're struggling and you're not going to cope, I would say probably written notes, printing out and written notes. And I would just give you one piece of advice, Kathleen. Collect notes, don't collect articles. Yeah. So the articles are irrelevant, right? That piece of paper you printed on, what you wrote on the sides, that can all be chucked. And what actually is the juice is what you squeeze out of them and you put in your bullet journal. And I would say that that's probably going to do more for you. The indexing is going to be important. The threading is going to be important. And the keeping things in Zotero is important. But what's really, really, really important is that DOI number, right? Yeah. So you've got to copy that DOI number with your notes. You can always find the article again. If you do that. So I would be very cautious about going to an all-electronic system if object permanence is really that much of a problem for you. For those of you who are slightly less so, I think the search function in Obsidian and getting your notes from Zotero into Obsidian and working that pathway might be helpful. So you could explore that. But as you quite rightly say, you don't want to get in too deep and switch systems. Like you want to play around a bit. I say to people at the start of their PhD, play around with things for 6 months or so. But after that, your migration of your information is just going to be a nightmare. So, yeah. So I would just concentrate on understanding that it's a DOI number and and writing your notes in full sentences, right? So you know how full on I am about verbs, you know. Oh, yeah. Newburn argues that writing notes is important. A note should be a full sentence with a verb. If you don't do that, your notes don't really have much transferability. So when you're writing the notes, concentrate on writing them. I would say the book that you need right now, Kathleen, is that A System for Writing by BuJo. That's all I've got to say, Jason.
Oh,
Do you have anything to add? I'm going to write down to say, I'm going to put it in the show notes, and then I always forget. So I'm writing a little show notes list in my bullet journal, which I haven't picked up for a couple of weeks because I've been on leave. But it's a very flexible system.
What's the name of the book?
A System for Writing by BuJo. You are putting it in our show notes so that when I go back, I can just extract it.
Yeah, it's straight in the show notes for the
DOTTO.
Number 6.
I would go deep on that book first and see if you can set something up. Also, don't forget you can take photographs of your notes, and any good AI system will give you a perfect transcription of it. That's what you're saying. You would do that in Google LM, would you? Would you take photos of all your notes?
I do it mostly in Claude. Take photos of my handwritten notes. And Claude's great at this.
Yeah.
I understand. I defer to you, Inga, as our chief Chatty G user on the Reg.
Chatty does a great job too.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Kathleen, I don't know whether this advice will work for you, but like Inga says, just have a bit of a play. The last step of that chain for me is taking your digital notes from Obsidian and putting them into Google Notebook LM.
Yeah, so if you're typing them in Obsidian, you take them into... But if you're just writing in the bullet journal, just take a photo and put it straight
attach
in.
it to an Obsidian note.
Yeah.
Attach that image to your Obsidian note so that it's all in the one. It's all in the one spot.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Extract it all to Notebook LM.
Right.
Mainly because of the way in which Notebook LM is structured. When it makes a claim of some kind, summarizes your notes or whatever, it'll often point to the exact source where it's drawing its information to be able to make that claim. And in Google Notebook LM, you can roll over the little... They show up as little grey circles with a number inside them. You can roll your mouse over that little grey circle with a number inside it, and it'll pull up an extract of the exact source that it's drawing from. So that reduces... It means that you can verify the claims that the AI is making. Remembering that it's predictive math, right? Like it can make things wrong. And just the other day, in fact, I was doing that. I was demonstrating it to someone. I found a sentence. I rolled over the thing just to kind of show them, and the AI had missed some nuance, and it said a thing, but actually the source note didn't actually say that thing. And of course, I knew that because I wrote the source note. But that last step, as long as you remember that there's always risk involved with it. Like you might misremember things, so let's not get too carried away and think that as humans we're perfect around the stuff. But that last step of moving it to Google Notebook LM, I think, is useful. Yeah.
So actually, my latest blog post. So if you go to the Thesis Whisperer blog.
Have you published
I haven't published since then. No, I did, but I published about Google M dashes and I ranted about the M dash. Did you read that one?
Last one I saw was you got ChattyG to write the whole thing. It was about whether or not LMs should be banned.
Oh no, that was actually someone else wrote that. That was something that ChatGPT just came up with that I put on LinkedIn like wild.
Oh, is that where I saw that?
Yeah, I just put it on LinkedIn. No, on Thesis Whisperer, I've got one about M dashes and self-policing and then I talk about Notebook LM. And so I've got the whole process there. So what we're saying is stick with the BuJo, stick with the writing. Remember DOI is more important. Take notes, not articles. Take photos. Jason's suggesting put it in Obsidian. So you have got it located, and then transfer your Obsidian Markdown notes into Google LM for the connected goodness of it all. And I reckon that's a good system for anyone, actually, if you're interested in a hybrid system. We are not going to get through these if we can't move on.
We talk about this in our workshop, note-taking workshop.
Yes, which hardly anyone ever asks us to come and do, which really hurts my soul because it's my favourite. And
it's a good one.
I don't know what to tell you, but people aren't interested in writing good notes. I don't know.
In the actual really like the.
I know. It's so good though, Jason. It's so good.
And it's where the leverage is, right?
I know. Actually, I think I need to recraft and remarket it, because it's really about writing. It's really about the first stage of writing and how to get from an idea and get it into text. I think it's really about that.
I've put your link to your latest one. The P does not stand in PhD. The P does not stand for prompt. Is the title of the and I've put that link in the show notes, so people will be able to just click on that and read that whole process.
Yes, excellent. Next one, you is in pink for you.
It's from Karen, and it's quite a long one, and she has a BuJo question for us. And I love this one. It really made me stop and think for a bit. So I've been cogitating on this one. Hello, Inga and Jason. I appreciate your enthusiastic discussions on bullet journaling in On the Reg, and the way you cover both research and institutional responsibilities. Do you have advice on using BuJo for action research or other engaged projects that are more dynamic and generate their own unpredictable tasks?
Side quests.
Side quests, yes. I've successfully run these projects over the years, and now I'm trying to include these tasks in the BuJo. I work on multiple team projects and have other work responsibilities, and I've tried to include my project tasks in the BuJo using collections, which was my first thought too, right?
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Currently it's making a mess of my daily logs as I list new tasks and try to flag which are unexpected tasks along with the project, and my colleagues' collections pages are messy. Neat plans with random tasks added as plans change. If you know of any BuJo approaches for dynamic projects, perhaps you could give examples in a future podcast. Here's an example of the type of engaged research I'm talking about. A community-based research project with 40 community organisations submitting information about their work each month for 2 years, plus a team of researchers doing fieldwork with these organisations, all of which has to be organised. And when interesting things happen in those communities, it triggers a change to our research plan to focus on that new issue.
As I say in my new book, research projects, they evolve as they unfold.
That's it. Yeah, this is a great example of that, right?
Yeah.
Most of the BuJo advice on project management is for top-down projects with clear activities and tasks that can be scheduled and tracked. But that's only about 50% of the work on these engaged research projects, and it's the other unpredictable 50% that I'm struggling with in my BuJo. The BuJo items are a mix of 1. Bundles of 2-minute tasks often acquired during a meeting, maybe 20 to 30% of the BuJo items from a project. E.g., Jim at the Corio office has left and Mary is the new contact. Update our records, tell the team, give her access to the project database and explain to her what data we need. 2, tracking actions of others where I then need to do the next steps and keeping track of which steps are stalled because the trigger event has not happened. And that's maybe 20 to 30% of the BuJo items for a project. So, e.g., when Mary sends me the Corio data, hopefully by the end of April, analyse it, compare with previous months, then book a meeting with Mary to discuss the implications. 3, a new information and ideas and or problems to solve, where decisions have to be made before I can plan out the tasks, around 20% of the BuJo items from the project. E.g., Rockhampton flood creates lots of new challenges for that office, research team to discuss what other data we can collect and how, to see how local office responds to the community's needs during the flood while also maintaining their usual services, then plan this out with Wendy. 4, the rest are in the middle, larger than 2-minute tasks, but not as large as a full can of worms, which I love. That was a great sentence. I read that one and laughed. Perhaps you know of ways to track this kind of project with a BuJo. Also, if you like fun stickers for your BuJo, you might like a particular website, made590.com.au, a shop in Marrickville in Sydney. Thanks, Karen. Couple of things. While I'm talking about this, Inga, you might take that website address and drop it in the bottom of the
it right now. Yep.
Show notes. Karen, I don't think you have a BuJo problem.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Go on.
I think you have a task management software, project management software problem.
Yeah.
What you're describing here is way too big for a BuJo. Like you're talking 40 sites, 2 years, data every month, and then meetings upon meetings, bless you. And no disrespect, but no one can keep that level of crap organised in like a simple paper-based system without going full Zettelkasten and big drawers and like a dedicated
multiple
person
different coloured BuJos for different projects, and then I'm not sure that helps either.
Yeah. So what I'm going to suggest, this is not a paid endorsement, although I will, in full transparency, say we use this software to run our business. Our business is remarkably task-based. You might not know that, but it's very much a series of tasks. Anything that we do, I've broken things all the way down to make sure that tasks don't slip. We use a system called ClickUp, ClickUp.com. It's online, cloud-based, and you can build pretty much anything inside it. And over the last little while, I've been really going to town on building our particular version of ClickUp out. And so lots of automation, lots of ways of being able to keep track of things. It can show you dashboards. It can show you when things are slipping. It can show you when things are missed due dates. You can email tasks to particular parts of ClickUp. So let's say you've got a project, we'll call it Site 1 for, make it easy. That's got its own that's its own project. That has a unique, Site 1 has a unique email address. So if you're taking notes, or you get an email or something, you can just forward it to that particular unique email address and it'll go straight to that project within your ClickUp thing. So you've got individual email addresses just get allocated to Site 1, Site 2, Site 3, Site 4. They're system generated. You don't have to build them. You just have to know where they are. And then you can collect it all in one spot. The power of this is that both Inga and I are seeing at our end, but it really makes it easy to see how this would work for you and your teams of researchers, is that you can see everything. And so Inga and I are both owners, if you like, of the ClickUp space. So we've got complete view over everything that's happening inside it. But if we were to bring other people into our business, we could give them restricted views to just parts of the ClickUp that we want them to see. We don't have to give them unfettered access to everything. And so what that means is that you could start allocating permissions to people depending on their role, and then everybody has a very clear view of what the work is. And then everybody knows what they have to do. You can allocate people to tasks. So, for example, when Inga has to run a workshop on our behalf, there's a whole series of steps that we go through when we engage a client. I typically do the front end of that, which is kind of setting up all of the client, like the file structure in our office and all that sort of stuff. I set all that up. The middle bit is the design and delivery bit. And if Inga's doing the workshop, she's got one coming up, in fact, with RMIT at the end of September, middle end of September. Inga will there's a whole series of tasks there that Inga needs to follow to do the design and put all the artifacts in the right place and have it ready for delivery on the day. And then when Inga does that, as she does that, she ticks, I allocate those tasks to her as part of the structure. She goes through and she ticks them off. I can see that those tasks have been done, so I'm sleeping well at night because I know that Inga's doing what she's supposed to be doing. And then after the delivery, and kind of there's a little bit of work that needs to go after the delivery that Inga will have to do, the remaining pieces of that, which is the closeout phase of that particular job, I pick up again. And so at any one point, we can see where we are. We can see what's slipping. So, if Inga's a day behind on building her presentation materials, I'm not particularly worried about that because I know she's a professional and she'll deliver on the day. So I'm not worried about that. But if I'm a month behind on sending the invoice, that's something that Inga needs to know about. And by having it really transparent like that, Inga, she's never done this because I'm usually not late, but she could theoretically say, hey, Jace, like kind of what's going on here.
Yeah.
The last thing I'm going to say about this is, and I know this gets off the topic of BuJos a little bit, but that over the last 3 weeks, I have been deep in Claude and Fable, and I've been automating our ClickUp space. So now every week an automation goes out. It looks at all of the tasks inside our ClickUp space, figures out which ones have been completed, whether they're on time, whether they're late, blah, blah, blah. Paints a complete picture of the week, and then automatically generates a management report, which I then email to Inga. So she can see all the things that have happened in the previous week that are kind of usually invisible, but behind the scenes, where in the past Inga's just kind of trusted that it's getting done, which is great, and she still does. But I mean, there's this level of reporting across it that makes it just super easy. And the thing that I like about that is that it puts pressure on me to deliver as well. So I know that report runs on a Friday, and if I haven't done the things in the week that I need to do by that Friday, a report's going to get written. It's going to go to Inga, and Claude's going to say, "Hey, Inga, maybe you should have a look at this. This is drifting from green to amber, or from amber to red, or something like that." And I don't want that.
I mean, I'm like,
I don't want that.
I'm glad that works for you, colleague. Like, Claude's not the boss of me, though, so I'd like, you could tell me that, I probably wouldn't listen. But the point is sometimes to just external accountability, and that's probably, I can see just in the nature of some of these tasks, exactly what you're saying. A system like you're describing would be awesome. One caveat, 2 caveats. When you're working with research data, you often have to keep it inside, even... Yeah, so you can build a similar system. It will be nowhere near as good, but you will be able to build it in Teams, Microsoft Planner. I'm sure there's something for Google that'll be similar. I've used Basecamp. I've used a bunch of them. ClickUp's the best, I would say that. And the way that Jason's got it is like that. It's a thing of beauty, is all I will say. It's like the inside of Jason's brain. And it's tidy yet flexible. So, like, I'm very impressed with ClickUp. So that one thing is just, you might not be able to use it because of your environment, but also other researchers, Jason. So it depends on how much power you have to say how things have to be done. Because I'm happily, like my dog, happy to roll over and have my belly scratched. In terms of being tasked with things, I'm happy to be told. I'm happy for Jason to put things in the system. I monitor it as best I can. I'm compliant. I've had less success with doing that with other academics, little to no success in most projects I've worked on because I'm not the boss. I can do it with my team. At times they've resented it, dragged their feet. Not my current team, but previous team members. Just strategic incompetence. I don't like it. I'm just going to do kind of slave behavior, right? Like, which is, I'll look like I'm doing it, but I'm not really doing it because I hate you. Yeah. So that whole piece, like you can have the best system in the world, but if you're trying to manage a bunch of academics, I mean, good luck with that. They don't play well with others generally. So it's a persuasion piece to get people on board and to get people to see the value. Because like I thought, and I'm just going to hand on my heart say this, watching how much time you were spending in ClickUp, I'm like, is this a diversion project? But I trusted that you had the vision, right? And you tried a few other things and I saw you trying to get your head around. And also I had run my own business before that, a much smaller scale. So I understood the annoyances of the number of tasks. Like how many steps are there in a whole client engagement? Like 50 something?
I think it's like if you count the checklist items on the back of those things, it's in the 70s.
Yeah, so that's just a lot of small moving parts, and a lot of the tasks you've got here could have come out of our ClickUp, right? Like, did you talk to so and so? What did they tell you last? Where is it up to? So you definitely BuJo, you're just outside the bounds of it. The only thing that would make it possibly work is to have different coloured BuJos or use highlighters, and good luck to you. I just don't think it's possible. And then you've still got which bits of it do you manage with a BuJo? You manage yourself probably. You manage yourself in relation to the systems you're working with. Which gets us back to a whole bigger issue, which we talked about a little bit, which was like we're both in a process of maybe letting go of omnifocus. We're both in the process of that, which is hard for us because it's been held us for so long in our work. But the thing with omnifocus, you can't connect to another person, and our work involves, and my work at ANU, all my work pretty much involves connecting with someone else. So this is the problem you've got. Again, a BuJo is a self-contained universe like omnifocus is, and I think that's the fundamental problem here, is you're always going to be the clearinghouse for everything and tasking other people. And so they're cognitively outsourcing to you, whereas with something like ClickUp, Jason can kind of throw the ball to me. And I'm a bit like Latte. I run after it. I don't necessarily bring it back. But in this case, he doesn't have to have me bring it back. He can trust that I've got the ball for a while, and then it comes back to him. So, wish we had a better answer for you. But it was a long answer and a good one. We're at 47 minutes, so I'm going to read the next letter. So thank you for that. Great letter, Karen. I'm going to check out those stickers. So thank you for the sticker connect. This one's from Stephanie Zims. Hi, Stephanie. It's been ages since I saw you. So we're playing a lot of catch up here. Stephanie says, hi, Jason and Inga. I've been paddling along between toddler mum life, very cute baby, by the way, not a baby anymore, walking baby, and the UK higher education bin fires. I'm assuming the bin fires are similar to the bin fires we've been having, so sympathies.
My read, like I've talked to you about this. I understood higher ed in the UK to be under pressure. It wasn't until I was on the ground and talking to people and kind of seeing the whites of their eyes that I understood. I started to get a sense of how bad it really is.
My heart goes out to you. Like anyone I've had contact with, it's just so demoralized. It's just fucked. Okay, it's really fucked. I'm sorry it's happening. You've got a new Prime Minister. I don't know if that's going to help anything. There's Count Binface running against Nigel Farage. That's what I call him, Nigel Farage. So, maybe you get some change. I don't know. Anyway, back to you, Stephanie. So I haven't caught up with the pod. That's all right because there's no pod to catch up with. But I'm listening to the March episode, which is probably the last one, while I tidy the house and get some order before the weekend. First up, I hope you're okay, Inga. I am now. Thank you, Stephanie. And hopefully we'll get to hang out at future Shut Up and Write Symposium. I've pitched GCU as host for 2027. I don't want to get ahead of news, but I did get asked to go to Cambridge for the next Shut Up and Write Symposium that is trying to be organised, and I'm hoping to be there in December, dog permitting and various other health matters permitting. So maybe I'll see you there, Stephanie. Second, Jason's UK trip. Are you coming to Scotland? Too late. He could have. Maybe Glasgow. Glasgow's amazing. You should come and visit GCU. Yes, you should. I would be happy to show you Glasgow and happily provide some recommendations for Glasgow and other Scottish areas. Not sure your timings, but my Gen AI for Researcher series, which she's doing, starts on 21st of May. Should AI do this? A good title. Stephanie's great with titles, by the way. Really great title, Stephanie. I'm going to write to you and ask you if I can steal it for my internal ANU things. I do realise I'm late to the party, so maybe you have a spot left. Talking about AI, you might enjoy my friend's Slow AI Substack, Prof. Sam Illingworth. thesloWAI.substack.com. Big hugs from Glasgow. Did you have a look at that Substack, Jason?
No, I didn't.
No, I love the title though. Slow AI. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like slow food, slow dogs.
Yeah.
Sleeping dogs.
It's been interesting. I won't out the authors on the podcast here, but I was asked to read a chapter of an upcoming book that talks about use of AI in research. It's fascinating. It's a really interesting space at the moment. Lots of different takes on whether or not and how AI can be used in this sort of space. I'm loving the richness of this debate at the moment. It's great.
Richness is one way to say it. Burning bin fire might be another way to say it. But we'll get there. Since you thoroughly missed the opportunity to meet up with the delightful Stephanie, and I'll tell you, Glasgow's amazing and well worth it. But next time, I'll try and get there in December.
What was it? Something like 8 cities in 17 days I did.
I know, you were just full, and had a great time.
Out of control.
All right, the next one.
Curtis McHale, author of The Analog Productivity. Remember you talked
about
this?
Wrote to us. I didn't realise this. This must have happened during my troubles. Wow. Hi, Curtis.
we mentioned analog productivity on the previous podcast a while ago. And so someone heard it on the podcast, reached out to him. He then listened to the episode and then wrote to us. And he says, a listener bought the book and then reached out telling me where they'd heard about it. I listened to the podcast this morning and thanks for the pleasant review. I'd agree that once you know some of the stuff, you don't need to read about it again. So many productivity books are filled with fluff. So I did try and give you some ideas about systems and show you what I use without all the marketing fluff that many people toss in to pad out their books. Have an excellent day. As a side note, thank you, Curtis. As a side note, I went to his website.
Yeah.
It is delightful. It is like it is a really, I won't, no spoiler alerts about why I found it delightful, but the link is in the show notes already. Have a look. When it opened up, I went, what? And then I went, oh, I love this. So, yeah, it's a great website. It's really, really cool.
He didn't say whether he was writing another book or working on anything else?
That's all I got. Although now I feel as though...
I love his take on, I'd love a new version of it or something. I feel like the gate's open now.
I feel as though that we know each other because we've emailed each other or he's emailed us once. Like, that's enough as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
I'm like, Curtis,
it's parasocial now.
Yeah, it's like, good to hear from you. By the way, we talked about you again.
Anything you write, Curtis, send it to us. We're always happy to review. I hope it didn't come across as dismissive. I think my point was that reading it again was just reminding me, this is where I heard of all these good ideas often in the first place. Pretty sure that's what I said. Yeah, at the time. So, thanks, Curtis.
This one, it was a while ago he wrote to us, so the episode's probably nearly 12 months
He's probably
ago
not even listening to us anymore. Okay, the next one is from Krista, who weighs in on our debate about whether the week starts on a Sunday or a Monday. I love that we get mails like this.
Right? That's why I think we do the whole... that's why I wanted to do all of them, because every one of these emails is just great.
All right. Dear Inga and Jason, I'm just now listening to your latest podcast, Planning for 2026, Fashion Influencer Style, and I can't help myself. I had to weigh in on the question about whether the week starts on Sunday or Monday. I think you are looking at this conundrum from the wrong end. The question is not when the week starts, but when it ends. If I remember my catechism, and you're more churchy than me, how do you say
Catechism.
That? Catechism. I always think that's anyway, that always sounds like catastrophe or something. It just lights up the wrong neural networks in my brain. Catechism.
So that's how I've always said it. And now you've just introduced
Now you're wondering.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
It's
not a word.
Have I been saying that wrong my whole life?
Ever said it out loud. I've read it like 1,000 times. Anyway, God created the world in just 7 days. I'll get it wrong already. Krista continues. God created the world.
God will be upset with you if you do that, right?
Okay, don't look at the God, okay? God created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th, he rested. God is non-binary, people. Read your Bible. By that logic, Sunday is a day of rest, worship, and contemplation is the culmination of the week, not its beginning. Love the podcast. So that means that Monday is, in fact, the first day of the week, is what I'm taking from that connection there, Krista. Thank you, Krista. She says, we love the podcast, already looking forward to the next one with regards, Krista. Thank you for clearing up, and I'm buying what you're putting down. That's all I'm saying.
And in fact, I agree. Monday is the beginning or the end of the week, if we can say it that way. Look, I don't know, is that a double negative? I'm not sure.
We're going to get down a rabbit hole. I'm going to read the next one. Okay, the next one is from Caitlin, wondering if we've been publishing ... Hi, Jason, brackets, hi, Inga. I was rather taken with your thinking partner verifier information processor framework for AI use that you presented in episode 81. If AI is the hammer, do we have to write nails? And I'm wondering if you've published this anywhere yet. I'm preparing a conference presentation that the thinking partner and verifier components are very relevant to, so I'd like to be able to reference the most complete and up-to-date version of your work on this. Love the pod so much. You two kept me sane through the interminable nearly 2 years from my initial submission to my sign-off of my PhD. As an actual doctor, about 6 weeks now. Congratulations, Caitlin.
Congratulations.
It is always a great joy to find a new episode. Thanks for all you do. The new episode. Did I say episode? Episode. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Caitlin. Thanks for writing to us. No, we haven't published it because we don't get around to things like that. But you're more than welcome to cite the pod, like research, non-traditional research output, right?
So
and nitro. That's what we call them in the trade.
I thought about this after I read this a long time ago, and I wonder whether or not what would be the process for us to ascribe DOI numbers to every episode that we publish, so that people
there'd be a process
if they wanted
for that, I'm sure. There would be a process.
Do you happen to know what it might look like?
No.
Is it?
Do I need to add that to my bullet journal?
One of us probably should look at it.
You know, probably like it would increase my research output like 1,000-fold. Not that I care. I don't care about research output. I know I should. I just don't. Well,
I don't know. I just like maybe.
But DOI numbers are useful. DOI numbers. We're fans, as has been already established in this podcast. We're fans. DOI numbers.
If anyone knows,
librarians write to us. We love you. Thank
please.
you.
How hard would that be? And the immediate follow-up question to this, of course, is how do I automate that? Like, because I don't want to do it the hard way, right? Like,
there must
is there a text expander? Or like, how does it work?
Yeah. You've got the next one. Go, friend.
But now we're all out of sync. Because now I'm black text and you're pink text, and that just doesn't feel right. But
hang on, did I read the wrong one?
Yeah, you read all the pink.
Oh, did I?
So now I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Go for Jason. Go for Jason.
Go for Jason. The next one is from Louise, who has some BuJo questions. More BuJo questions.
Okay, more BuJo. Love it. Bring it.
Hello, Inga and Jason. Hope you are both well. Greetings from Ireland.
Hello. I love that we get to all parts of the world. Ireland, beautiful place.
I've been a dedicated listener to the pod since the early days and have followed so many of your tips and suggestions for productivity. Thank you. They have not always worked for me. But I think
they don't always work for us either. Yeah.
No, not always. But I think that's the nature of life, and we need to experiment and tweak to find systems that will work for us as individuals, and more have worked than not. Plus, your lovely Aussie accents and friendly banter are a joy to listen in on, like sitting next to the cool kids at my favourite coffee shop listening to their chats, but not in a creepy way. You definitely helped me through my PhD, and now I'm 1 year post-graduation working as a lecturer. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Welcome to the salt mines.
Or the academy. Or are they the same? Yes. Okay. Welcome.
Welcome.
One thing that I have stuck with, largely because the system is so flexible that I can adapt and change it as needed, is bullet journals. In the pod dropped in January, planning your year fashion influencer style. So this is the same one that Karen was talking about, I think.
Yes, because there's been like 2 episodes this year. It's July. It's nearly the end of July. Okay, go on.
I was intrigued by how many spreads Jason had prepared in advance, and I have many questions. I know you've covered how BuJos work on the pod before, but I was hoping that you could touch on this in the mailbag time next time or something. Jason, do you have just one physical BuJo notebook in a calendar year? So quick answer, yes, unless I fill it, and then I have another one. I have 2.
Yeah.
I've never exceeded 2. But I now buy the bigger, thicker. I use Moleskines. They're 400 pages.
Are they?
Rather than
I'm trying to look at what mine is. The Lectherm, 248 pages.
Yeah, I think the normal Moleskines are about 250 pages or something like that. So yeah. So that kind of keeps them to just one bullet journal a year. And if I don't finish it, like I close the door and I've got the next 2 years worth is just sitting up there unopened yet, ready to go.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, yeah. Do you redo the spreads at the start of each new notebook? Yes, I do. Do you have a master notebook to rule all the other notes in the year? No, I do not.
I do.
I'm split
Yeah, I've got an index of indexes. I've shown you this, haven't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I've got a... Thanks to Anuja Cabral, our
We
friend
love her.
Anuja, who once sent me a lovely care package of a very big BuJo. She's awesome. Thanks, Anuja, if you're listening. We love you. And this has got indexes of all my indexes. Like every page is an index and all my BuJos are numbered. So I see. So BuJo. I've got a master index, if you like. So that helps you go back to any other BuJo.
So on one page it'll be 2024 index, and it's just a direct copy of all of the actual index in your 2024 BuJo.
Yeah, I do it by hand. Cool. It's very mindful. Yeah. Every time I finish a BuJo, part of my closing ritual is to record it. Index.
I would
saved my ass a couple of times, actually.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I'm just, my brain has just gone, I wonder if you thread indexes, like master indexes. Right?
Okay, stop. Your brain just exploded popcorn, cheese flavoured, which is my favourite.
So if you had something in your 2001 BuJo, and then you live your life for a few years, and then you come back to that thing in 2005, whether or not
I could
just having a look and just seeing whether or not there's some connection.
Oh, there's plenty of crossovers. Like, things carry on. Like, I could do that. I could thread my wow. See also BuJo number blah, and then I could go back to here and find amazing. Okay, we went on a side quest totally. So
that might actually have helped though, right? Like weirdly, from like Louise's like going, "Ooh, I hadn't thought of that."
Yeah. So the answer is Inga does have one master index of indexes. Yes. Go on.
Louise,
where were we?
Louise carries on.
Louise is saying.
She says she's split between her home office, my campus office, when not teaching, research sites. So I try to keep it into one notebook on the go at any one time. And I write a fair bit in my BuJo, so usually fill 3 to 4 206-page new notebooks in a year. Wow. I find it tedious to redo too many spreads at the start of each notebook, but equally have been known to have the wrong notebook with me if I have more than one. If I'm only working in such short time frames, it is harder to see those crunch points before they're on top of me. Much like Inga suggested, it's harder to see in digital formats. So tips on balancing this would be great. The system I currently have involves using my BuJo for future planning, monthly and weekly spreads, daily plans, etc., as well as collections on any project currently working on, from module delivery to articles I'm writing to field notes and random thoughts. And then I use Todoist as a project manager for recurring tasks and or tasks that have a particular workflow that needs to be repeated, as well as random lists like books I want to read and so on. That's a really long sentence. I had to take multiple, like, it's a good one.
Breaths.
Like, I got... You know when you read a sentence like that,
you go, oh my sense. God. Like, it's impressive.
It made sense. Yeah. It's a long sentence, but in its design of being long, it brings a level of exhaustion with it that I can actually feel what she's trying to tell us in that. Like, it's very evocative, that sentence. Anyway, sorry. Sorry,
it does
Louise,
break my rule of no more than 50 words, though. So
but I like at the end of it, you're like,
email.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It felt
there's a lot what it meant. On. Yeah.
I love it. I've tried to use Obsidian as well, and while I do like it and see its potential, it has never fully worked for me and is now mostly where I keep my waiting for list and similar lists that are visited regularly but not on a daily basis.
I don't use Obsidian as a to-do kind of. It's really a drafting place for me, so I can understand. Some people I know really use it for to-doing, but I've never really liked it for that. Yeah,
there's community plugins that make that a whole lot easier and stuff, but I tried to run it for a little while there when I was at La Trobe as a to-do thing because I was in Obsidian lots, but it never stuck. I went back to OmniFocus. Finally, I know that your workshops are tailored to the different institutions you work with, but if you ever decided to do online workshops that people could sign up to independently, which are a little bit less tailored, I don't think I'd be the only one who'd be clamouring to sign up. Especially if manageable time zone-wise for Western Europe, please do consider it. This turned into a longer email than intended. Thank you for the pod. Please keep up the great work, and I'm off to listen to the latest episode. All the best, Louise.
Thanks, Louise. Are we teasing anything? We're working on it. The online.
We're working on the online stuff.
We're definitely working on it. In fact, you're really working on it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the pipe. It's got its own section in ClickUp with tasks and stuff. So under active development at the moment. I'll let you know. We'll let everyone know more once we've got something that we can show people.
Yeah. We're excited about it though. Like early stages, early, but looking good. So yes, we would like to do that, and we would like to have access for people who don't have to go through their institution and have some research money that they want, professional development money they want to spend on themselves, and give them really good value for money. Because I don't know about you, but I don't think I've ever met an online course that I like, except possibly McSparky's field guides I found useful.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
So we're taking inspiration from that. And also from YouTube and TikTok, because I'll watch heaps of informative content there, but give me a fucking LinkedIn fucking online professional development course. I just stab my eyes out with the pen. So we are working on it, but we're not going to do shit ones, and that's why it's taking a while. Yeah, we don't want shit ones. Yeah, it's got to be cooked properly. It's got to be good.
My use of the BuJo, it was central for an extraordinarily long period of my life. That plus OmniFocus worked really well. Now that I'm spending easily 4 hours a day inside ClickUp, easily.
Yep. Yeah.
Just kind of managing everything.
Yeah. ClickUp You're the air traffic controller, really?
Yeah. ClickUp has become my...
Sorry, just keep checking to see if Latte... And all she's doing is moving around and then stretching her little paws above her head. She's got little toe beans, and they're so cute. Sorry, I'm very distracted by the cuteness that's down here. She's adapting so well to being a desk dog. I'm so proud of you. She's just looking at me now like, I'm tired, lady. Can you shut up? Okay, go on.
I might use the W word just to kind of like...
Do not. No, she doesnn't know it yet, so you can use it. Yeah, okay. No. Yes,
she probably doesn't have an understanding of the word beach yet either, or park yet.
No.
But when
they have not been installed. Software has not been installed. You're coming to visit me, so you'll learn what words she does know. She knows wee-wees.
Huh?
You're going to go do wee-wees, and that mother is strangely obsessed with it, and she knows none-eyes. Time to go none-eyes.
Good.
She goes in her crate and she goes none-eyes. Sorry, we're so distracted. Yes.
ClickUp is my gravity well now for all of my activity. So where I'm finding value in my BuJo is in the monthly, weekly spreads. And so what's actually happening there is I might not actually write anything in my BuJo for a whole month or a whole week now, but I still do the weekly spreads and the monthly spreads to give me that overview of what my life looks like. So, for example, I can look at the August one, and I know it's on fire. That's fine. It's just lots of moving pieces, and so then when it comes to actually planning out my week and thinking about, what do I need to have washed by when so that I can do various activities at different times and places. That's the BuJo really helps me with that kind of time and space planning, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Rather than the actual detail of the tasks and that sort of stuff. Because I legitimately now have outsourced all of that to ClickUp. And I've just started like a personal list inside ClickUp where I'm starting to migrate my stuff from OmniFocus.
Wow. Again, we tease with the OmniFocus. It just can't be a solo trader anymore. Like we really,
No, OmniFocus still holds a lot of really important data, like dates for when various insurances fall due.
Yeah, same. And paperwork, tax. It's good for managing your personal tax, I think. Like forwarding it, receipts that you get in email and stuff. But on the other hand, there is other ways, lighter ways to do that. Like reminders are actually pretty... Apple Notes is actually amazing. Like I've said this again and again. Like Apple Notes, And we use 1Password for our team documents. And you can keep a lot of documents in 1Password. So, yeah, I think, Omni really,
Look,
it's going to be hard to let go.
Yeah, but I think when we, with ClickUp, so I'm saying a lot of positive things about this, but I want to be really, really clear about it. We needed a backbone, like a task management system that both of us could see into, and OmniFocus didn't deliver that. What ClickUp, as well as that, it's a subscription-based model, and our data is not our own. So, I mean, there are ways to get the data out, but in reality, we're paying every month, and our business pays for that because it's so central to what it is that we're doing. As an individual, would you find the same value? I'm not quite so sure.
No, I don't think you would.
So if we didn't have to run our business on it, we didn't have to see each other's tasks and be able to allocate each other tasks and all that sort of stuff, I'd still be BuJo plus OmniFocus. But that's,
I don't know.
That's kind of where I'm at.
I've got work as well, and I get a lot of value out of Teams just for keeping track of stuff. Anyway, we could go on. Yeah. This whole episode, I'm just conscious of how much dog time I've got here before I get someone biting my feet again. Next one is from Elizabeth, thank you, Louise, by the way, and thank you for writing to us all the way from Ireland, and thank you for enjoying our Australian accents as we enjoy the Irish accents. I think it's a mutual admiration society. The next one's from Elizabeth, who has some gear recommendations for us. Bring in Elizabeth. Hey, Jason and Inga. Almost fell off my chair when you said how much you're paying for Riverside. If you can put aside a day or two to learn new software, I highly recommend looking into OBS Studio. Free. The gaming streamers love it. OBS Project and the paid version of DaVinci Resolve Studio, about 470 AUD. There's a free version, one-off payment. It includes sexy AI tools like editing from transcript. Nice. Actually, Riverside has included that now. So, I used to do Riverside, then Descript, and now I do everything in Riverside. So, it's got better value than it had. But good call on the cost. It's very expensive. You can capture your Teams or whatever convo, snippety doodah, export the whole video, audio files where they need to go. It's a time investment, but may help cut costs in the longer term. This may be relevant to the wider audience. Academics may want to record presentations, etc., for wider viewing than just conferences. I wish they would. I'm a fan of the video format and the audio format. Thanks for keeping me company for hours and years while I get shit done, Elizabeth. Thank you, Elizabeth. I'll look into that. I'm open. I'm open to new formats.
Yeah.
Can I give you a production note right now, though, Jason? You've got to stop leaning on the desk because you're making your camera wobble, and that's going to be annoying on... and you can also hear it. You can hear it, and it's annoying. It's annoying the audio nerd inside me. Editing is going to be like, why didn't I say this earlier? I didn't even notice it till then. And then I was like, now it's all I can see. Yeah. Hands off the desk. You need a dog to pat, just saying. I have made Jason's wife enjoy my dog too much. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. Here's the final
I like the volume of latte photos that are coming my way at the moment. And then I was sitting next to Kath the other night, and she was like, "Have you seen the photos of Latte?" And then she shows me your chat, right? And it's like photo after photo after photo. I'm like, I suddenly realised that I'm only getting 1% of the total number of photos that are going out.
Your latte content. I'm damping it down.
I'm like light milk latte, aren't I? Really? Versus full fat latte.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And yes, also for including maybe some audio visual for including latte should she ever wake up. Yeah. Someone said on Threads, and my sister sent this to me, said that owning a beautiful dog is like being a personal assistant to a celebrity. You're always going down the street and saying, yes, Bongo loves her fans. We have a next appointment to get to, Bongo. And it's a little bit like that. Latte loves her fans. Everyone makes such a fuss. It's amazing. She's AI dog. You'll see her in a moment when she wakes up, and no doubt it starts biting my feet. Okay, we're at the last one. This one's from Marin, who has a question about teaching Was that non-neurotypical?
I mistyped.
Non-neurotypical, so neurodivergent students. It also points us in the direction of Typst, some software for people who have to write technical documents. Interesting. Hi, Ingrid and Jason. First of all, thank you for the hours and hours of entertainment. Long email incoming, sorry. That's fine. We love our long emails. Firstly, as a neurotypical teacher who often has non-neurotypical students, I wanted to ask you for tips on how to approach teaching for non-neurotypical students. For instance, I noticed some of my students have trouble following announcements or understanding written assignments. I was wondering if you had any advice on how to write assignments, instructions, class assignments, etc. for students who might have trouble following them. Secondly, I wanted to call your attention to a very useful scientific tool for scientific writing. I'm sure you've heard of latex. Yes, I have. Which can be described as HTML for writing. Well, now there's a new tool called Typst, which is essentially Markdown for scientific writing. You write in plain text and annotate citations such as at Bergson 2002 claims that, and it will later get rendered as square brackets 1 claims that, with square brackets 1 being reference to Bergson paper in your Zotero exported bibliography file. It automatically page sets, formats, and numbers images, orders citations. I'm getting a hot flush. Writes the references section and so much more. This is all I want in my life.
Okay.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing. Since it's plain text, you write it once, then you apply a journal style file to switch journals in seconds. Oh my God. Or apply blog style and turn your, I didn't read this one before we went to print, so, or apply a blog style, turn your paper into blog posts, etc. I'm sure no one would even write Typst. I'm sure one could even write Typst in Obsidian. To get a better understanding, check out the tutorial. We'll include the link. I think this could be useful for many of your listeners who might not be in the math engineering circles and thus have never used latex or heard of Typst. Best from Marin. Amazing.
Right. So
for those, if you know, you know. Yeah, if you know, you know. Yeah. You went and had a look. What did you think?
I went and had a look. It looks super powerful and it does amazing stuff. So particularly around formatting, kind of like latex work, formatting those fancy math equation things and all of that sort of stuff. Does a really, really good job of that. My initial thought of it when I looked at it was, but to be fair, I've never learnt latex either, so I don't know what the learning curve is there. But my initial thought was it is kind of Markdown, but it's just enough removed from Markdown that there's like you'd have to invest. But as an acad, I personally wouldn't find use for it in our business. But as an academic, I think that it looked awesome, and I would probably go, okay, I need to learn a thing. But once I'd learnt that thing, I would be so happy.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think the same. Like I don't. Yeah. I write in overleaf sometimes when I write papers with my computer science colleagues, when I write my machine learning papers. And I really like it. It's a bit of get your head in the game where what you're writing is not what you see.
Yeah.
So it looks like a right old mess, like the back of the knitting, and then you see what it renders a beautiful document. So and it just handles that complexity that otherwise you're manually handling in Word. So it's worth it. But like I say, I only do it with my computer science colleagues because exactly what you're saying, there's just enough of a learning curve that I can't convince the other people I write with. They're just like, bleh! Like they can't even go to Scrivener. Like they can't even go there with me. Again, Scrivener you can't share either, which is a big limitation. Scrivener and Omni do feel like they're stuck in last decade in that respect, you know, which is unfortunate.
I had a look at that tutorial. Marin is underselling it here, I think, in their description. It does image handling, like so image sizing, placing, all of that sort of stuff. Seems to handle it really, really well. Rendering, all that sort of stuff. Looks really good. I recommend it.
Excellent. Thank you to everyone who wrote to us. Thank you for the longest mailbag session ever. We're at 1 hour 20.
I think So I think have you got any SpeakPipe?
No.
Okay, that made that very, very quick. The work problem I was going to talk about.
We kind of talked about
we kind of touched on it We kind of touched on it with the ClickUp discussion.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about how I'm using this plus Claude in order to be able to produce our kind of weekly management report for you. And I was going to go into a little bit of detail about how to do that and what some of the thinking was and how you can use AI to support that thinking.
May I make a suggestion? Because these notes are gold. They're gold. They're really good.
Yes.
I think we should just make the notes available as a on the reg downloadable. And we should talk, though, right? We should talk about this bigger discourse of AI that we hinted at in the introduction, and how our thinkings and the tensions in our thinking and how it's bringing into our teaching. Because I think this is a very, very live issue for academics at the moment in the academic world.
Sure.
Do you
happy?
Yes.
Just let me sharpen my knives. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Do you want to start?
I feel as though I'm bringing a knife to a gunfight, though, a little bit. But
no. I mean, it's been very interesting to me because I work with you. Like, I've got a day job, but I take a lot of time off my job. Like, I don't get paid many days in the year now because I work on the reg, and A&U have been really good and really flexible around that. Plus, also, I've just got a monster amount of leave, and they're happy for me to burn it, and I'm just burning it doing on the reg work at the moment. But I've got a foot in both camps, and you also have a foot in both camps, as we mentioned at the start. Maybe you want to talk to us. I think we've touched on that one time that you were in the room full of haters. Remember that?
Yeah.
And you rang me afterwards. You needed to be debriefed from that experience. So, shall we start there, maybe?
I'll get, it's interesting, right? So
this is our word problem segment. It's a problem we had to solve since last we spoke. In this part of the show, we focus on one aspect of work, and when we nerd out about it, sometimes we tackle problems we've had at work and suggest a theme. Actually, can I start? Because it is a problem I've had at work.
Sure. Go.
Okay, here's my problem at work. I do inductions for new PhD students.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we get them in a room, we feed them, we get them to meet each other, we have fun, and at the same time I talk about things like work health and safety and research integrity, and I have these presentations, one of which is called 5 Tragic Research Mistakes, another which is called You, Me and Chatty G, where I just talk about, research integrity in the context of everyday work. And my talk about AI has become, over time, more scary because it's really come to my attention that people are not really writing their PhD anymore. And so I happened to go to a writing retreat one weekend. I happened to sit next to a lovely student who I won't name, who didn't know who I was, bless her heart. She'd missed induction, okay? So she hadn't got my talk. And we were talking about something else, and I said, it's great, happy to help you with that other thing, but really you booked to see me about writing. This is why I'm here at this writing retreat on the weekend, which I don't do a lot of, but occasionally I'll drop into things like this. And she said to me, oh, no, I don't need help with my writing. And she flicked and showed me what she was doing. And she was writing a PhD with DeepSeek. And it was basically her typing in one window her thoughts and DeepSeek running it, right? And producing a thesis on the other side, like side-by-side windows. And I was like, you can't do that. And she said, yeah, I can. I said, you can't though. And she said, oh, my supervisor's doing it. I'm like, well, they may be able to do it, but like you're a PhD student and our policy says that if you're going to use PhD in the writing process, you can only do it the way that an editor, a human editor would work. And here's the Australian guidelines to editing standards. And here's the things an editor can do. And what they can't do is write your thesis from dot points. Okay. Like it's just something they can't do for you. And she looked me straight in the eye, Jason. And she said to me, and I quote, but I don't have time during my PhD to learn how to write properly. And I just blinked. I slow blinked and I said, what do you think we all did before 2022?
Right.
We learned to write properly during our PhD. Yeah. It is a struggle. I get it. I don't like it either. I don't like reading it. I don't like writing it, but here we are. This is the language of your workplace. You need to learn it and not outsource it to a machine. What if you don't have access to a machine? What if you're breaking the rules not only here, but you're breaking the rules for a journal? What if, and I said this made her stop and think, what if you become a teacher of other PhD students, how are you going to teach them to write? So she stared at me in kind of blank confusion. I said, go tell your friends. Then I told her who I was, bless her, because my title's scary, Director of Research and Development. She's kind of like, I'm going to get kicked out of my PhD. I'm like, no, we've had a pedagogical conversation, okay, in which I've informed you. Professor. Yeah, like she had no idea who she was talking to. And then I said, go tell your friends. So I was sitting outside a glassed-in classroom, and the people, I saw her go inside, talk to her friends, and then one by one they came out to talk to me because, of course, you would, right?
Right.
And they were like, I'm doing this. Am I allowed to? I'm like, no, you can't do that either. No, you can't do that. No, oh, you can kind of do that. Slippery slope. Here's the line where I would stop doing that. All those kind of things, right? So I had a series of clarifying conversations at the same time, profoundly depressing, okay? So the next time I'm in induction, I tell my team this, and they're like, you need to be, scarier, Inga. And I'm not a very scary person, like by nature. So I got up and I was like, listen, if we find out you're doing this and this and this and this, we'll take your PhD off you.
Yeah.
After that presentation, so in the room, I could see everyone looking at me at the start of my presentation, like, yeah, I've got this. And then by the end, slowly it's dawning on them that what they've done all the way through their undergraduate career is no longer an option.
Yeah.
And they're going, fuck.
Yeah.
Now, look, I know you can learn to write during a PhD because I started my PhD not really being able to write, and that I taught myself, and there's books, and you can do it. Like, there's no doubt you can do it, but you need to invest the time and effort. And I asked myself, quite honestly, I wouldn't have invested the time and effort if I'd had these tools. No way, man. I would have been all over it, and I would have been hiding it. And so I'm profoundly sympathetic. So I wrote a paper for my committee that I report to, and I'm like, dudes, pulling the stop cord on the tram, everyone needs to stop because we've got people coming through who can no longer have the foundations of writing. We really need to address this. You've got to teach these people. You can't expect them to just have spent nothing in their undergraduate career really developing these skills, and then all of a sudden they're meant to be on top of their game. No, we're going to really have to rethink what we do here to support people properly, but also ban it. Ban it. Ban it. And I don't see any other way through. Talk me down off the ledge, because also some of the more, the kind of managerial type of people are telling me that people, like not only at ANU but other places, that people are getting to confirmation first milestone, they're not able to do it because they've prompted their way to that point and prompting's fallen down, which is a relief, I suppose, that, but for the people that are further along and have got through that milestone, that are still in the system, what are we doing here, people? Like, what are we actually teaching? What's the point of all this? You go, I've ranted. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. So I disagree with the whole banner.
I just got to pat my dog because she's looking at me like, why are you yelling? Yes, go on.
I think that we're largely aligned in some of our thinking around this, but I think that banning AI at the PhD level is a fool's errand.
Yeah,
Inga
probably.
Muven.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I know.
Professor
I know.
Director Inga Muven. I know. So I sent you yesterday. I'm just going to pull it up here. I sent you a message on just phones, because
old school, because we're boomers.
old people send you a message without warning you that I'm sending you a message.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not going to reveal which institution, but this was really, really driven home to me when I was doing some work to spin up a harnessing AI for HDR students session, because we often get asked to come in and to just talk to graduate students about the use of AI, what they can, what they can't do, what the risks are, that sort of stuff. It used to be really easy because there was no policies across the university sector, and it was like, just roll in, here's priming and prompting, kind of knock yourself out. These are the things you need to worry about, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But now each institution has its own policy. And so what that means is the development time of these workshops is going up. I've noted this. Inga. I'm spending more time developing workshops individually for institutions, but I haven't increased our prices.
Yeah, we maybe.
So I'm just sort of saying, might have to think about that now.
Yeah.
But this particular institution, and I wrote to you, I said, this is where I think banning Gen AI at the PhD level is a fool's errand. Despite insert university's name, HDR guidance saying that you can't use Gen AI for complex ideas. This guidance on how to use their internal AI, so it's a university that has their own, and at undergraduate level. So this is publicly facing. I found it just by Googling it. And it's a nicely branded, formatted, 2-page A4. This is what you can do with our AI. This is what, blah, blah, blah. Specifically allows that kind of use. And then I shared the document with you. And then I said, if I've been using AI this way throughout my undergrad master's experience, and then you tried to take it away from me at the PhD level, I'd be like a child who had his lollipop taken away. Because on one hand, you can't be giving me lollipops all the time, every day, and saying, good boy. And then when I get to a particular point of my development, you suddenly take the lollipop away and say, oh, no, that's bad. You can't do that anymore. Yeah. You can imagine if you tried to do that with a human child, what kind of behavioural problems that you would have as a result of that. Yeah. Like, it would be insane, right? So even at the PhD level, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, if you had started your undergraduate at a university, had been told, and in fact, I didn't share you another one. There's another document that I found that talks to you about how you can actually use their internal AI system to build specific agents to help you to do some of this. And the examples that they use, very complex, researchy type kind of things. And it uses this example, and I'm like, you're actually saying here what you're banning over there in policy. And I think that that's a fool's errand. What I think that needs to happen, and I'm going to get some heat for this. Yeah. Sorry, not sorry.
Go on.
What I think that needs to happen is that supervisors need to have less PhD students, not 8 or 10.
Yeah.
Like a few.
Yeah.
But to fucking teach them properly.
Yeah. Well, I've got 3, and that's enough if you want to do your job properly.
Right. So, and that's where I think the system needs to change. That, you need to have supervisors who are across this technology in such a way that they understand what it is. They still have the discipline knowledge, which is what's actually really important here. But what it comes down to is going, okay, what you need to do now is that you need to understand that this particular tool has this particular set of affordances, that the way in which you use the tool is as critical to the outcome as the actual outcome itself. And you need to be able to explain to a committee what you did and why, and what the outcome was, and why that outcome matters in a particular way. So you still have to have both AI capability, you need to be able to use that AI tool, but you need to be across your discipline in such a way that you can explain what you did, where it worked, what your human researcher decision making was when you chose to either accept that output from the AI or you decided to reject it for something else, and what that thinking looked like. And okay, that means that you have to keep a lot more notes, and you have to be way more clear about what you did and how. But that's what you need to do. And additionally, your PhD probably needs a whole chapter or appendix on the use of AI in the PhD.
Yeah,
what you did, how you did it.
The very least we have to do that. It's an appendix. It's not a declaration at the start. That's kind of some kind of bullshit. It needs to be more like what my publishers demanded of Writing Trouble, the upcoming second edition of Writing Trouble, which includes AI in it. And so therefore I did use AI for parts of it. In fact, I've calculated how many words in there are from AI, and it's 842 out of a 50,000 word book. I had to give them the exact number of words, which was hard because I hadn't kept the records because they hadn't asked for that at the start of the publishing process, but by the end, that's what they wanted because they are more in tune with what the legal necessities of it are. But here's a more radical thought, Jason. Ban it all the way through, all the way. Every single I'm with Cory Doctorow on this. I think it's asbestos in the walls. I think we'll be digging it out for decades. I think that here's the thing, that's that piece that you read in LinkedIn, which we'll link, was completely one prompt from ChatGPT wrote that. And I had no notes. It was like perfect encapsulation of my argument, which was that, we're getting dependent on these big technological corporations. We're underdeveloping people, and we've got people who don't know how to fly the plane properly. And when the instrument fails, they don't know what to do. And I think we need to go back to our roots. And by that, I mean our monastery roots. We were monasteries. We produced writing. We saved writing. We saved Latin. We did all that. And we did that by going back to doing things by hand and being the archivists of the human race, right? And so you should enter a university. That's it. No AI for you. Because this whole AI literacy thing is bullshit. Don't say AI literacy to me. It's not a literacy. There's nothing easier than using AI. And I know we go around and teach it, and we've talked a lot about how difficult it is for people to get their heads around. But it's not so difficult you can't do it in a 3 or 6 hour workshop. You can do it, right? Like we've taught it all the time. So it should be taught by people like us after you finish your degree.
Yeah.
The various ways that you can use it to speed up your cooking. But you should know how to chop the fucking onions in the first place before you use a food processor. Or else you never know how to chop onions properly. And you always need a food processor. And so here's the other thought. This is what these oligarchs and these technological corporations, and I don't want to say that fucking guy's name on the podcast, but the one that starts with T. That's what they all want. They want us. Yeah, they want us to be paying rent for the rest of our lives. They want us to pay not only rent for our houses, for our software, that they also want us to pay intellectual rent for the rest of our lives. And that, I just think we should there's no, you decide you don't have to come to uni. You don't have to. If you come to uni, you're just doing it the hard way because we're monks now. This is what we do. And that means a lot of other things. I've put this in my paper up to the committee to say, if we take this position, which I am advocating for, and it has a lot of force coming from me, a well-known enthusiast. And I am an enthusiast. I fucking love it. I use it all the time. Yeah. But I can still land the plane in the dark without instruments, Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I still myself have to go through how much do I do just to keep my hand in, to make sure I can still do it. I make sure I still write my blog. I make sure, I'm practicing all the time because I understand it's like playing the piano, that if I don't use it or lose it, I'm going to be in trouble myself, but I will strategically use it. And one of the things I use it for, is to write papers for committees. I wrote this one by hand because I felt like it was important. But then my boss said, if you're going to write this, you need to benchmark all the policies for the whole sector. That would have taken weeks. Did I get ChatGPT to do that? Yes, I did. Did I get Claude to check Chatty's work? Yes, I did. And then I wrote, generated by ChatGPT and Claude, I'm aware of the irony. Okay, but you asked me for a benchmarking thing. I don't have time for that. Here it is. If you really want to go, here's all the links. You can go and do the benchmarking and what other universities are doing. But I'm advocating that we have the strictest policy in the country and we show leadership on this. And we just say no. We just say no. One of my nieces, Artie, shout out to Artie, did really well last semester, struggled and used no AI. Got a HD, really felt like she fucking earned that HD, okay? And she was really angry at classes where she was told that she could use AI because she's like, I don't want to use it because I want to do this myself. I've listened to my aunt and my mother rant about it, probably, I don't know, wherever she formed this opinion. Okay? She wants to do it herself. And she said, now I'm going to be compared with all the people who don't take my stance. So now I'm going to have to accept that my grades are not going to be as good as the people who... And same with our PhDs. If we are saying no, then we're going to have to accept the standard of our PhD won't be as good as it would be if they used it. I believe that. Like, it will raise the standards of your work, especially when it's in the hands of an expert. It raises your expert level to stratospheric, but it raises average to just kind of okay. And is that what we're here for? No. Anyway, that's just how I feel about it at the moment. Like, it was just being looked in the eye and being told I don't have time to learn how to write during my PhD. And I didn't have a get off my lawn response, okay? I didn't have like the old days. I had like a moment of fear and anxiety for this young person who was going out in the world being dependent on machines for the rest of her career. Because she will be. And one day she won't have access. Another example, my son went for a few job interviews, got pretty far in the process, and they were offline, not able to use any AI. You know, and he was like, shit, I'm glad I did my undergraduate before this became like the way everyone does things, because there's no way I could have written that. You know, so we're just doing people a disservice. So that's, I don't know. And I think you should, the day after you graduate your PhD, fucking knock yourself out. Go hog wild. Use it as much as you want and come to our workshops and we'll teach you how to use it in a day. It's a day. Literacy takes years, decades. Think about what it took for you to become literally literate, to be able to read and write. It took decades. It doesn't take a morning or an afternoon with, I mean, we're good. I'm not, you know, like we're great at teaching.
Very good.
But, you know, but even someone who's...
Last one I got 9.5 out of 10. Like,
I know, people love it. So, like, save it for, like, come to one of our things, empower yourself in a day, and then you're just, like, amazing. So anyway, it's my plea to you if you're listening, you're doing your PhD. I just think we need to have this conversation about standards and about, like, remember a PhD is a pass or fail. And remember that most people marking a PhD at the moment did it the old-fashioned way. Their expectations aren't AI-powered, okay? So just don't do it. I feel like I'm just begging people not to take drugs and there's no point. I'm going to cuddle my dog.
Okay.
Are you aware?
As you know...
This is where I cuddle my dog. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
It's very hard to have a conversation with you when you disappear. Oh, look. Little fluffster.
Little fluffy. Little fluffy dog. Hey.
For people who are listening, not watching on the YouTubes, there's a little fluffy dog, Floof.
She's sleeping on
kind
me now.
Brown and white latte.
Yeah. Can I just turn around so you can see her toe beans?
Sure.
I think we've finished our rant. This ends the rant stage of the...
Oh, no. It ends your rant stage.
Okay, you can have a rant. Look at her toe beans. Look at the little toe beans. Yeah, darling, I'll put you down. Okay, thank you for bringing me joy. Thank you, darling. Where's your piggy? Shall we get your piggy?
Oh my God.
Kill.
Yes. Sick 'em, Rex.
Go on, you go with your rant.
Right, so in a previous lifetime, for my sins, I was Deputy Director of Quality and Standards at La Trobe University.
Yes, somewhere my memo would have landed on your desk at some point, right? Maybe?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Something would have come across my desk about what you were saying. Like, it would have hit my radar. The thing about La Trobe at the time was that before AI was a thing, so this is starting to date me now a little bit, but ghostwriting was a big problem, right? So students outsourcing their assignments to professional services to write their assignments on their behalf. And so they would go to a website and they would pay the monies, and these websites would turn around an assignment in, depending on how big the assignment was and how urgent it was and how much you decided to pay, sometimes as short as 24 hours. Quite large assignments.
Wow, really?
they had professional assignment writers, really, that would just...
All those people have lost their job, haven't they?
Well, that's right. They did, right? Because as soon as AI came along, all of a sudden that whole market collapsed. But the response that Latrobe had, and many others, like not just Latrobe, but many other institutions as well, was that they would blacklist these sites. So when you were on the Latrobe network, you couldn't get to these sites. So if they knew that they were a particular SA mill or that there was a particular website, they would black ban it at the gate. And so any student would not be able to get access to these things. And in fact, the reason I know all of this is because my job was academic integrity at Latrobe at the time. What we had to do as an academic integrity team was actually we had to apply to the IT people to allow just us on specific machines to be able to have access to these sites so that we could continue to monitor them and see what they were doing and all that sort of stuff. But the thing that always kind of baked my cookie was as soon as you disconnected from the Latrobe network and connected to your home network or just your mobile phone and just hotspotted to your mobile phone, that gate disappeared, right? And you could just get straight access to these services and you could get your assignments ghostwritten, and people were. We had cases where we were able to establish that it was true that a student had outsourced their work somewhere. We also, at the time, had some students who found themselves, they kind of got caught up in all of that, found themselves in a little bit of trouble as well. So don't deal with shady characters is the takeaway, partly from that little story.
Well, the blackmailing was real, right? Like that's the real purpose of that kind of operation. It's not to sell it to you once, but to hold it over you.
Right, for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
By the way. But the fact is that, just as you were saying, you were telling people not to take drugs. Some people were doing that, even though they knew that they shouldn't be doing it. They were heading home and they were doing it anyway. So my argument here is that should you ban it and therefore not have any oversight over it whatsoever, or should you engage with the technology, recognise its harms, and then specifically work with people so that they understand it? And that, we are in a period of transition here, I think, still. I think the unis and the academics that work within them are in a really, really tricky spot, because if you think about any major technological transition that's ever occurred, there's this messy spot, right? Like we go from horse and cart to cars. But the bit in the middle means that we also have to build roads and petrol stations, and it's not just horse and cart to cars. It doesn't just happen like that. There's all of this really messy kind of work that has to go in the middle, and that's in the literature. It's known as a transition strategy. You're in the middle of it. You have to deal with all the messy stuff to eventually get to the point where you know that you're going to get to. If you don't recognise that you're in that transition phase, you're often in trouble, right? Because it's so messy, you have to be able to be flexible enough to be able to deal with things that come out of nowhere, like there's a lot of uncertainty, blah, 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 blah. That's where we're at the moment. What the academics are trying to do is that they're trying to actually apply their brain to this particular transition strategy problem. And that's why we're seeing such a diversity of views here, lots of finger pointing and yes, but, which is exactly, by the way, what you and I are doing here, like today. Yes, but what about? And yes, but what about? And neither of us have brought it up, but the one that we commonly get, the objections that we commonly get are on ethical and environmental grounds, right? Like about this kind of technological, people are being exploited to be able to produce this stuff.
I'm very impatient with that stuff, because fast fashion.
Me too, right?
Do you drive a petrol car? Do you take overseas trips? Shut up. You don't care about it any other time. Suddenly you care about it now.
Yeah.
I'm much more dialed into this like skills capability. Like that's the only kind of one that I've ever thought was a compelling argument not to.
But I don't think that. I think let's return to the monastic approach, the banning of AI at the gate at undergraduate level, all the way through to, okay, you're now no longer our responsibility in terms of education.
Hog wild, like,
you're on your own now, bro. Right? Like that is, I think it's unrealistic. I think it's unsustainable, and I think it misses the fact that this technology is shifting the way in which we produce and consume knowledge, words at the moment, and that it's a much more reasonable position to go, I don't like it, I'm unhappy about it, I think that there's a lot of problems with that, but this is the solution, or this is a way that we tackle this, knowing that, you know, that we're in this transition thing, and that there is no going back. I mean, the only going back bit that you will see around this sort of stuff for, you know, advanced economies, for want of a better term, is like artists, artisanal, stonemason kind of like people who keep those kinds of skills alive because they're useful in particular parts of the economy. Like, so I was in York when I went to the UK. And we walked past the big cathedral that was there.
Yeah,
and
beautiful.
It's beautiful, right? Like absolutely beautiful.
Astonishing, yeah.
Yeah. Undergoing renovations at the moment, and you can see, like, they fenced off some areas, but you can look through the fence and you can see where the stonemasons are actually carving out the stone to replace the various different bits of this cathedral that's crumbling down. Like, that skill has largely disappeared, right? There's probably a vanishingly small number of people who can actually do that anymore. But, you know, we still value that work, but in that very, very little minor space. And so when it comes time for the cathedral to be rebuilt, and we require stonemasons to do that, we pay them a shit ton of money because they're the only people who've got those skills. But that is a strategic decision that you make when you enter stonemasonry, is that you go clear-eyed into the future. Calls for my services here are probably not going to be very big, right? But I'm going to do it because I believe in stonemasonry. I think that it's a skill. There is enough going on in the economy where there are enough old buildings that require my abilities to keep me alive and to feed my family and to do all that sort of stuff. And by the way, I fucking love chiseling rocks, right? Like whatever it is that floats your boat. But
I don't know though, writing. And
I don't know.
But writing is so linked with thinking. And maybe it's only linked with thinking because that's the way that we've learned how to do this kind of thinking. And maybe we find, I'm sure, like I back humans, we'll find other ways to do that kind of thinking. That's not even so much my concern. My concern is who owns it, who controls it, what kind of access do you have to it, can you do it without it? These are my concerns. And if I never have to read another academic paper in my life, I'm not sad about it. Yeah. Like maybe one thing we have to consider is the kind of level of writing. We've taken writing as a proxy, writing a particular style, a particular fashion. We've taken it as a proxy for smart because it does require incredible skill set, incredible dedication to be able to, and to time on task to be able to do that. It is the stonemasonry of the highest order, right? So what you've done with this technology is you've taken away all that time. Like you keep telling me, like the thing about AI is speed and scale. So this is where speed and scale are affecting, right? So no longer does it take a really long time to make that artifact. So how are we judging you on your thinking abilities? I think we need to shift that discourse. And that is happening to some extent with oral exams. And I'm actually pleased to see that, really take traction. And that more oral examinations throughout the PhD where experts are testing experts, I think is a way through there. And that we should, I've always, as you know, we should get rid of the dissertation. The assessment alignment is all wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Because what are you really testing through?
Yeah.
So maybe this just hastens the demise of the dissertation, which in theory I'm in favour of, okay? And I'm not saying all this because I make a large portion of my living teaching writing because I don't really. Like, I can do it, sure, and I'm good at it, and I write books about it and stuff. But, like, if you said to me tomorrow you don't teach writing, there's many other things I teach. Like, I've always kept many tools in my sack. And I don't love teaching writing, so I wouldn't miss it. I'm just thinking, well, so maybe what needs to change is what academic writing is. Like, whether we keep doing it that way or whether we teach other ways. And now that maybe it's made not only words more accessible, but image making more accessible, that more time is spent doing diagrams and, some more visual representations, which are really effective ways to capture knowledge about chemistry, about physics. They're big drawers. What happens if you start to bring that more into the humanities and into these writing spaces? Like, this is a potential to rethink, and I'm sure you're right. Like, we're in a transition period and we'll get there. And I can't help reflecting on my own education as an architect. Back in the day, I started my architecture degree in 89. We were still drawing and using die line machines, and I learned all the pen weights and all the ways you cross your corners. I learned how to do lettering. And by the time I finished my degree, no one was doing that anymore. It wasn't being taught. And I remember my teachers lamenting, look, you really have to, if you don't draw it this way, you can't understand how a building goes together. I was like, yeah, old guy, whatever. Okay, I'll learn it because I have to, whatever. And now they can't draw elevations anymore. Like, I asked a friend of mine, can you get me a student to draw me an elevation for my house? I can't be bothered. I could do it myself. It takes me too long. I don't have the right software anymore. And he goes, no one knows how to do that anymore, Inga. They'd have to build the whole house in 3D and then take an elevation snapshot. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. What? They can't just draw an elevation. He goes, those days have been gone for a while. You've been out of the industry for 20 years. Like, what those people were predicting in 89 has come true, and the world hasn't stopped. Buildings are still being built, right? Yeah. So, like, one part of my brain is aware of this, and like, I have lots of conflicting feelings. It's the reliance on the technology that I just cannot. I just can't get over that.
But
dependency relationship. Yes, but it's dependency related. I can buy a pen from a store or buy a pen from another store. It's not the way we called Fable. Like, they gave me 48 hours of access to Fable, and I was like, this is fucking great. Oh, my God. It was like driving the fastest, like getting from my old petrol car into a Tesla for the first time. It was like, blew your hair back. This is the future. I'm never going back. Fucking love Fable. Incredible. Then they took it away from me, and I was like, well, fuck. And I had this moment where I'm like, well, now we have to start paying $300 a month for me as well. And then I'm like, wait, you're paying the extra for ChatGPT. For our business purposes, it's probably good we've got a foot in either camp, that you've got the broad knowledge and expertise. I've got the ChatGPT side of things. If one of them goes down, the other one's still there. And then I thought, I even have to start thinking in these terms. Like, I cannot run, but then, probably I can't run my health without my injections of my GLP, which is some sort of lab all the way, like, we live in an advanced society here, and, like, I don't know what the answer is. It makes me upset. I don't like it.
Like, I totally get it, but I'm not boosting AI for the sake of boosting AI.
No, I know you're not. No, we don't do that here. We don't do that.
We don't do that. Like,
but we love it. We do enjoy it.
A critical view to it as well.
Yeah.
It's just that if I had to bet my money, if I had to bet my house, and I'm not. Just be clear, internet, I'm not going to do that. If I had to bet my house on the direction of where this technology is going to go, I know that it's not going to go away. You only have to look at the open weight, open source models that are out there now. Like, you talk about dependency. It's a dependency on the frontier models that have a rent extraction.
Yeah, but you can't, even those open weight models, to actually make them run at anything like even a basic ChatGPT, the amount of money you're going to have to spend in hardware and the amount of expertise you're going to have to make that, to riddle me that. Like, if our business wanted to buy even the most, I looked into it because I thought, I felt all kind of, what happens if ChatGPT goes away and now you're using Claude in ClickUp, and I've just been thinking about us, Jason, what do we do? Do we buy ourselves a fucking shit hot server? Do we get Matt or someone to help us do a local install of one of those? And I'm still interested in doing that. I looked into the pricing of those servers, $16,000. And it would last you 2 years. So it might just be a business expense you have to factor in come time in the pipe, and they're going to start pricing their subscriptions to match that, So anyway, and I've been watching a lot of stuff I've been watching a lot of YouTube about, just the financing situation that OpenAI and Anthropic have got themselves into. I don't see a way out for OpenAI, frankly. Just don't see it. Yeah. Anthropic might. So I think OpenAI will be eaten by Microsoft, and then everything will be Copilot now. Anyway, I'll just leave you with that. I'll leave you with that thought because we need to move on. We haven't got time for book, article, website, except I need to say one thing to you.
Sure.
HBO, the streaming channel, HBO, HBO, home box office, I have.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
There's a show on there called...
You're bougie.
I rotate, okay?
You're burning tokens in the background.
I know, my streaming habit. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
How do we do entertainment before TV? Before
I know,
streaming?
right?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Like before
illuminated manuscripts, Jason. Okay. There's a show on there that if you have got HBO, I highly recommend. Lots of people told me to watch it at the time and I just didn't, and I was wrong. It's called Rooster. It's set in a small liberal arts college. It's got Steve Carell from The Office, not playing the Office character at all. It is heartwarming, delicious. It's sort of not realistic at all about academia, and yet deeply and strongly realistic about academia. I loved it. Me and Luke loved it. We mainlined it like crack over 2 nights. Could not stop watching it. On my side podcast, I've done Academics Talk About The Chair on Netflix. And then we did Academics Talk About Severance. I think we might have to do an Academics Talk About Rooster because, anyway, do yourself a favour, Jason. If you've got HBO or you want to buy HBO, watch it. It's great. Okay. And also I've been reading the book you gave me, Team Dog.
Team Dog.
How to Train Your Dog the Navy SEAL Way. And you've seen her stealth sneak attack is cuteness. And I have been trying to teach her kill, but it doesn't work. She can't fetch either, but she sits like a champion.
Before you know it, she'll be busting down doors and tearing terrorists apart.
I reckon
dragging them out by their...
The perfect undercover dog, right? Like you could put bugs on her collar and she would just... And everyone would be like, oh, look at the puppy.
You'd want like a little helmet with night vision goggles, right?
Oh, yes.
And lasers like they have on the guns, so that the infrared ones, so that only the people with the infrared sights can see them, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And then send her into a smoke-filled room with dirty terrorists in the corner somewhere. Like, go get him, tiger.
I'd back her. You should see her attack her little banana toy. You'll see it when you come. What she does with that banana toy. She's got the animal in her. You've got a 2-minute tip, and you've outsourced it. Go for it.
No, I haven't
don't
outsourced
have one.
it. Oh, okay. No.
Yeah.
I'm calling out to Ben Crowell, friend of the pod.
Oh, right.
Also, Ben, haven't spoken to you
Ben.
for ages. This is what happens when Twitter goes away.
I know. It fucking sucks. Yeah. We used to just always friends. Be, I know, right. We could just text, but we don't. Go on.
Friend of the pod could write a letter. Old school. Before technology.
Yes, go on.
Friend of the pod, Ben Crowell, once put me onto a little piece of software called Divi.
D-I-V-V-Y. D-I-V-V-Y. Yep.
It was for Windows management. So in the good old bad old days, Macs, if you wanted to move a window from your, resize a window or move it onto a different screen or whatever, you had to do that manually. Like a bloody Neanderthal, right? Like you had to...
Living like an animal.
Living like an animal.
And not like a bougie animal like this one. Not a happy bougie animal. Yeah, like a real animal. Yeah.
So Divi came along and solved that problem with keyboard shortcuts. You would press a shortcut and it would move your active window to a third on the side, or it would move it like you could put in the middle, or you could move it to half the screen. Like just instantly it would snap into place.
Yeah.
It was awesome. But then they, for whatever, like once it was built, it just did its job really, really well. But then Macs moved over to Apple Silicon off the Intel Silicon, and then it broke and it stopped working. And I was like, oh, sad. And then Macs released their own internal window management stuff now.
Yeah,
so you can do this
which is
natively.
okay.
It's okay. It's not great, right?
It's not great.
And I was like, oh, God damn it. All right, fine. I bloody loved it. And then, but the other day I was like, the Mac version just doesn't do it. So I went looking for an alternative. And I've come across one. It's open source. This is for our Windows friends as well, even though I computer shame.
You judge, you computer shame.
I do judge.
Which is wrong. It's wrong. Yes.
I came across an alternative, open source, free, although you can pay for a pro version, but it's not naggy. It doesn't make you pay for it. It's just like, if you want, you can buy the pro version for $14. It's called Rectangle. There's a link in the show notes at the bottom. It's an awesome window manager. And it's super powerful. It's like you can set key bindings like you used to be able to do in Divi. I haven't done that yet. I put it in. It lives in my menu bar at the top of my computer thing, and I just like click on that, and then literally it drops down. There's like 30 different ways that I could make windows move around my screens and stuff. You can have like a third and up and like a little bit in one corner and a little bit in, like all sorts of crazy shit. Like it's really, really good. It's enough for what I'm doing. The free version is enough for what I'm doing. The power users might like the pro version, but I don't think you need it. Like it's bloody awesome. It's really, really good. And I now snap my calendar, my text message app, and like into thirds on this screen over on the left. And so they just kind of sit there happily doing their thing. And then I work on the other screens.
Yes, it will be important on your whole setup, which is very Star Trek Enterprise level kind of screen architecture that you're going on there.
So
as opposed to mine, which is just pretty basic. But I'm a mess with my Windows, so I need to check this out.
You know how you and Luke convinced me to move from a desktop Mac to a MacBook Pro?
Yes.
As my main machine.
Yes.
I cracked it the other day, and I'm like, this is shit. I hate it. I'm going to go back to my desktop Mac. And do you know what stopped me? The Claude integrate. Like I've been using Claude so long on my laptop that it knows all about me, and it stores all of that stuff in weird places on my laptop, and I don't know where it stores it. And so if I was to suddenly start working off my perfectly good Mac desktop, I would lose all of that context.
Again, dependency relationships.
Right. I'm sure there's a way around that. And like
I'm sure there is, but you don't want to. And they'll just make it just painful enough, right?
People will they'll go, we'll get a flood of stuff to the pod at onthereg.team.com.
Yes. Write to us. What do you think?
We'll get a heap about, like, Jace, that's really easy. This is all you have to do to fix that problem. But yes, anyway, that's dependency. Yes, absolutely.
You can also, on the YouTubes, you can put a comment down below, and you should also like and subscribe, which we're just on 2 hours and 9 minutes. So I'm going to read us out. Because the dog needs dinner.
Okay, cool. Who is looking at the comments, like, of us?
Oh, I don't go in there very often, but it's our old On the Reg team, so you can log in and have a look. I'll show you how when you come down.
Okay.
Also, my headphones are just running out. I'm down to one now.
Okay, all right.
Okay, we'll talk.
Technology.
Thanks for listening. We love reviews. There might be a review. I haven't read it, sorry. But if you leave one next time, I promise I will. Just scroll down and get typing. Like and subscribe, as they say on the YouTube land. Give us a thumbs up. And hey, if the hype button's available to you, hit the hype button. Helps other people find us. If you want your question featured, you can write to us, pod@onthereg.team.com or
We've got an empty mailbag now. So
speakpipe.com. /thesis whisperer. Jason said he's having a break from socials, needs to change his show notes. He's actually there on LinkedIn. It's 2026. It's a burning bin fire. LinkedIn is what we've got. Friend us. We have no boundaries, and you can message us there, just like old school DMs. We've got an On the Reg team page that you can find, and it's in the show notes. It costs about $1,000 a year, though. It might be cheaper if we take up our listeners' invitation to look at the Elizabeth's suggestions. But if you do want to support our work, $2 a month on our Ko-Fi site, link in the show notes. We said we'd enlist people, which we haven't done either. Thank you so much. But all of that really helps the wheels of the bus go around. We are a small business. We're doing well, but it's the bones of our ass existence, isn't it? Like we're going as fast as we can, Captain, and it's covering your lifestyle, keeping you in shoes. But
we don't have any corporate offices here.
We do have to think about spending. We did have a long discussion about a $30 Coles receipt the other day, because that's what we have to have long discussions about in a very small business like we have. So thank you for supporting the pod. We're back to our normal schedule. We are back. I make that promise to you, Jason. When you come down next week, we'll record another version. I'll get this one out as soon as possible. The dog still has gone back to sleep again because she's bored and she said it's gone on too long. So it's goodbye from Canberra with me and Latte.
It's signing off from Melbourne. From Melbourne.
And we'll catch you next time. With no latte. Although you do have your Ginger. I haven't seen Ginger today, but I'm sure she's around.
Yeah, probably.
Correct. Yeah.
Whatever.
All right. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, Jason. Bye.